frighten or scare me whatsoever. And I've stood up to these rat bags for years, for 30 years.
G'day everyone, thank you for tuning into this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment to help boost the message, and join to be a member if you want to show some extra support. It means the world to me. I'm fully supported by my community, by you, so I can stay unbiased and give my true, uncensored opinion. So thank you all so much for your support. Let's get back to the video. One Nation protesters, let's get into it. So Avi did this video about the One Nation protesters because Pauline was announcing her candidates yesterday. Warren Pickering, the army veteran, is going to save Victoria. So we'll watch that interview after. Make sure you follow Avi. I'll link this video in the chat. But let's check out these radical uni students, because that's what they look like. People that haven't had a job yet, protesting for communism because they think they want everything free. Oh, sorry, they call it socialism. Sorry. We know what it really is. They want that. But we all know what that leads to. Communism, nothing's free. The working class pay for it. That's the trick. That's what these kids don't understand. The working class pay for everything with our taxes. Nothing is free. The Labor want to spend money like it's free, but it's not. The Greens want to send money to Pakistan and Afghanistan like it's free, but it's not.
Unite! Unite! Unite to fight the right!
They don't frighten or scare me whatsoever. And I've stood up to these rat bags for years, for 30 years.
Pauline Hanson is back in Melbourne to introduce One Nation's Senate ticket to Victorians ahead of the crucial November election, and unlike the ABC, will bring you everything that happens without undermining the hope this state has of finally turning things around. We'll start with my exclusive chat with Pauline as she arrived at the meet and greet the left tried and failed to shut down. Pauline, welcome.
I love, before we get into it, I love how the left always call, for some reason, One Nation fascists and all this. They even have it on their signs at these protests. Yet, they're the ones that try to use violence and force to shut down another political party. Do you know what fascism means? I think your uni teacher needs to teach you. Fascism is taking power, normally politically, by force, normally with military, but they are trying to do it themselves. That's why the left always go to violence. It's taking power by force, not democracy. We are voting and we are winning. So they want to go out and protest and try and shut us down. And let's be real, they're trying to kill Pauline Hanson the other day in front of the police. That's not an exaggeration. You can't say I'm lying. They're doing it. We have the footage. But they're allowed to do that. And they call you the radical. You the fascist. They're crazy.
Welcome to Melbourne.
Oh, yes.
Welcome back to Melbourne.
Territory.
Are we to expect a welcome to country here tonight?
Oh, come on, Harvey. You should know me better than that.
No welcome to country. Abby's so funny saying that.
Be any welcome country out of me. If I say anything, acknowledgement would be to the men and women fought for this country, what we have.
So,
Hatred.
the build-up in the last few weeks we've had from both the establishment parties and the media. They were basically, I guess the narrative till now has been One Nation's not ready for Victoria. They haven't announced candidates. You saw a shift today within the press conference and suddenly it's, oh, you have candidates, but you don't have policies.
Yeah.
What's your
I've
reaction?
been saying One Nation doesn't have policies from the start. All I care about, and they do have many policies, but all I care about is they're addressing the real issues. Mass immigration, government fraud, over government spending, these woke agendas, all this rubbish, sending money overseas, not supporting Australian culture and putting Australian culture first in Australia. And of course, addressing many terrorist threats as well, properly. They're addressing all these things and much more. But we need to get rid of mass immigration, over government spending and fraud, and taxing people to pay for it. That's what we need to get rid of first. They are the root causes of the collapse of our country. Not to mention not cracking down on crime. That's one of the big ones for Victoria, because you can rob people with machetes and be out on bail the same day. So One Nation are addressing the crime as one of their top priorities as well.
Action to all that.
There is policies. We are putting out the policies. I want to bring the whole team on board. When we've got the team there, the lower house candidates, everything like that, which we're going launching about a week or 2 weeks' time, then putting out policies. Look, the major political parties haven't rolled out all their policies. They expect more out of One Nation than anyone else. We're under the microscope a lot more than the other political parties. The fact is, the people of Victoria are ready for One Nation. It's the major political parties. They're not ready for us. And that's why they want to protect their power and their positions. They've put this state in the situation that it is now through their bad policies, their bad management, and the state is really, financially you're broke. You've got another voice to Parliament. That's what it is, a treaty to Parliament for 4% of the population that's going to determine whether legislation gets through or not. It's a joke. This is part of our policies too, to get rid of that extra body in the Parliament and deal with crime. When you've got between 53 and 62% of crimes, whether it's robbery, break-ins, carjacking, is by children, right? That's what it is.
And in Victoria, it's not just the children. The leaders use the children because the Labor government, for some reason, refused to lock up children. We say children. These people are like 16, 17 years old. When I was 17, I knew not to rob people with machetes. I'm sorry. If you need to be taught that, you shouldn't be in Australia or you should be locked up in a box. If you think a 17-year-old can't understand, you shouldn't rob people with machetes. I mean, it's crazy in Melbourne. My gym got firebombed today. I can't go to gym. It got firebombed. They don't know why. They firebombed it. They threw petrol in there. People were working out in there at 3 a.m. They had to run out. And the cleaner upstairs had to get through the fire to get out. And that's Melbourne. That's where I go to gym. Just got firebombed. I don't have a gym anymore. Multiculturalism.
Dads, they haven't dealt with it, RV. This is what people want. When you got,
Not to mention the kids that firebombed the business the other day, caused millions of dollars worth of damage, made lots of people lose their jobs, got out on bail straight away. So how can you cause millions of dollars worth of damage, destroy your business, and you're out on bail? No wonder they don't care about crime.
Children wielding machetes in shopping centres and on the streets that have killed a child. What? Why? Why has it got that to state? What have your politicians done for the people in this state? And that's what it's got to go back to the justice system, the court system, and you deal with these people. And parents have to take responsibility for their children.
Warren, who I've seen now a few years, it's been since the last election, he could be, based on polling and the trajectory we're going on, he could be the next premier. Does that compute?
Oh, Warren followed me on Instagram today as well. The legend. Part of the cancel community. I did a few videos on him and he followed me. What a legend. I love it. Not afraid to follow the cancel community. They are ready for change.
He's got a background in defence, as he was in the engineer in the defence. He's also been a small business person. He's a strong person, and he knows what needs to be changed and said. But it's not him by himself. You've got great candidates around. We've got a criminal lawyer. We've got a police officer. We've got a person with experience in education to drive that as well. And I think the people of this state couldn't do any worse. Have a look at what you've got now. Really? Look at Ben Carroll. Does he look like Premier to you? He does.
Oh, the lesbian. Oh, so funny. I said to my boss at work today, I'm like, he's that lesbian. I keep calling him a lesbian online. He's not going to like me. And he goes, he does look like that. We're winning, Pac-Man. But yeah, Pauline's getting real working people in. Real people with life experience. That's what they're getting in. People with real world experience, they're getting in. Because how could you do worse than the Labor Party? With mass fraud, mass crime. Everything is a crisis. So, and then they try to say, I saw actually some of the, I think it was the Labor Party saying, Warren doesn't have any experience being a premier. Mate, you think you can do any worse than Jacinta Allen? He has great real life experience, especially being a combat engineer in the military, I think he's pretty tough and can tackle the crime in Victoria a lot better than any of these other idiots. Ben Carroll, Mrs. Carroll, come on.
He doesn't enthrall me. He doesn't instill any confidence in me. And he's part of the government of the Daniel Andrews, the Jacinta Allen government.
Exactly. He stood by them, working with Jacinta Allen and Daniel Andrews the whole time, destroying this state. He's no different.
She got the state in the situation it is now. Don't change your stripes now, mate, and think that you're going to make a big difference. You should have made a difference when you're in Parliament.
Yeah.
But he says he's about integrity. Why don't you believe him?
He's about integrity. My big toe it is integrity. They wouldn't know what integrity is.
Yep.
Where was he when this corruption was going on, which put the state into an extra $15 billion debt? Why have they allowed the unions to dominate it? Why has he allowed 4% of the population to control the parliament now? So where's your integrity?
Well, to be fair, I think he was in charge of roads.
He's in charge of the potholes, is he?
He was in charge of the department that took on the big build, and then he was number 2. He was deputy. But he's kind of backflipping on everything in the last few years. You just think is it desperate? What do you think it is?
They were so desperate today. The Labor Party tried to change all their people, tried to put a new treasurer for Victoria in. I mean, I don't know how the other one kept that job. All this stuff, trying to act like we're a new parliament. All they did was shift everyone's jobs around. They're the exact same government.
Always happens, right? So then they actually, my God, I'm going to lose my power, my session, the smell of leather in the Parliament seats, and therefore they're groping to save the deck chairs on the Titanic that's sinking around them, and that's why a lot more ministers will actually retire before the next election. People out there, they say, oh well, we've never done it before. Well, look at what you've got. Tell me, can you get no worse than what's there?
Gear shift, you were away, and the media worked overtime while you were not in town. It was a complete stitch-up where they tried to make you look as bad as possible.
Really? Did they do that to me?
They try. Clearly not working. Polls, you're up again.
I love how they tried to attack her for meeting Tommy Robinson, who got Carl fired just for talking to, but all it did was get her more support, also from across the globe, because people could just look at England and say, holy shit, she's just trying to see what's going on and where we want to get away from. And they tried to frame Tommy Robinson like a terrorist. It's crazy.
Today, he had that gotcha moment.
Senator, he sat there. I was present at your podcast. He
Here
sat
we
there,
go.
this far away from you, looked you in the eye and told you a barefaced lie.
And what was that?
You asked him, have you ever tried to go to Australia? And he said, no, I haven't. Senator, he's tried twice.
Well, I'm not aware of that.
In the last
But
6
it's not-
years,
yeah.
he's had...
And I think Tommy just didn't want to talk about it. And he didn't ever apply. I think an organisation applied for him to try and get him over there when he was doing speeches and stuff. So it wasn't even him directly. It was just like someone trying to get him over there for speeches. It wasn't like him going to apply to try and come to Australia. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is that silver bullet.
had his visa denied to Australia to visit.
I saw your face thinking, oh no, I don't like if somebody I believe in lied to me. And I was screaming at the screen because I want to say, Pauline, he didn't lie to you. I was there in that whole thing with his visa, his immigrant, and he didn't apply for his own visa. There was somebody here that was trying to bring him down that applied for a visa.
I didn't know that. So when Liam said that to me, I had to take it that was the truth because, no, I did investigate Tom Robinson. But you know what, Avi? I'll meet whoever I want to meet. I'm not going to get your rule book from these losers that have been our politicians or media or the rest of it. Tell me who I will meet, who I won't meet. I'll assess it myself and I'll make up my own mind. And I don't regret meeting with Tommy Robinson, having that tour of his town where he grew up and seeing the states that it's in now. I can speak from experience, the same as what I did. I went over to Afghanistan on the ground before we pulled out.
That's
so
crazy.
I could actually see what's happening over there. And that's a lot more than what a lot of other politicians did.
You want to know the irony of that story is Liam himself has been deported for lying on a visa before. Do you know that?
I think I did hear that, yeah.
There was another one also.
It's crazy Pauline going to Afghanistan to see what's going on back in the day. And then she's going to England to see what's going on with the bloody Islam takeover in these areas. And then I remember it was so funny seeing Pauline in the car being like, oh, I don't want Australia to turn into this. Holy shit. So she's getting real experience to save Australia. Because you don't need to know what's happening in what's going to happen with mass immigration. You can see it. Just look at England.
Also, where they had a candidate, and this one hurt me because I'm somebody who's recovered from drug addiction. I was a heroin addict as a teenager, and I overcome it. And for me, it's like that's like an accomplishment. I'm proud about it. I've written about it in my book. I'm proud that I've overcome that. And I saw the media trying to question you about one of your candidates for that exact thing, and I'm thinking, isn't that a positive?
This is what happens with One Nation all the time. They're trying to get the dirt on us. They've even gone back to my ex-husband from 1970s.
I thought that was quite funny, the response you had.
The only good thing about it, I found out he's still alive.
It happens all the time. Even staff that worked in my office 6 years ago, they've gone to them, and, you know, for a person they've admitted that they have come clean, they're trying to advise others not to be on drugs or how to get off it. You know, so I take my hat off to him. Good on you, mate, for saying it.
Do you think the media's learning anything by the fact that all these smear campaigns, they're just not landing? In Victoria, you're polling at greater numbers than you're doubling, tripling the Greens. How's that even possible in Victoria?
Yeah.
The Greens.
Look, Harvey, I appreciate the support that we're getting. The real day is going to be on election day when people can cast their vote at the ballot box. But the fact is, and that's why I banned the ABC, the Guardian and the Age Day, I'm sick and tired of the gotcha. I'm sick and tired of putting and spin everything that we say. And once it gets out, it's hard for us to turn around and put the truth. That's why you've got these idiots out there across the road who are screaming at racists because they've never really took the time to understand what my policies are, what I stand for, difference that I want to make in this state. And that's why the media are responsible for a lot of this rubbish I've had to put up for years. So that's why I'll keep banning them. Give me a fair go. I don't ask for special treatment. Just put out the full truth of my statements in the full context.
That's right. The media lie about us so much. People read a headline, say, oh, Pauline's racist, and that's what they run with. That is what they run with, and she's fucking sick of it. Especially the ABC, paid by us with our taxpayer money to do it. It's absolutely sick, and you can see it. This mass mainstream media propaganda machine. That's why people are waking up. That's why they want to ban social media so people like us can't have a voice. It's absolutely ridiculous, the propaganda they spill.
Speaking of them outside, in Victoria, we used...
Oh, look, no Australian flag. The Palestine scarf's on, faces fully covered, tried to say they're a fascist when they're the ones trying to use violence to shut Pauline down. They are the One Nation protesters. That image right there is the best advertisement why you need to vote for One Nation. Just looking at them, realise what's going on. These radicals are the opposition. They are the best advertisement to turn people away from the Greens and the Labor Party. So-called centrist people. Look at these people, these radicals pushing the points. These are the people getting people fired online. These are the people pushing this propaganda against One Nation online. These people. Not an Australian flag ever in sight. That should tell you everything you need to know.
To that, but it does beg the question. These guys, they're part of the socialists or the Greens to the socialists. So altogether,
and look, what is there, like 20 there? The news keeps saying there's hundreds, thousands of protesters. There's like a group of uni kids that a professor probably sent them down. The Greens probably paid for. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Maybe they poll 10%, 12% in Victoria, but their events never get shut down. They're free to have a meet and greet with the candidates, and nobody will stop them.
The Conservative side of politics don't have that aggression about them, okay? We do it in such a way, we'll have the debate and we'll have our say, freedom of speech, and then you'll have your say at the ballot box. They want to shut down everyone who disagrees with them, with their nastiness, their aggression, that type of thing. They think that's the way you deal with things. Well, it's not the way you deal with it in Australia, and I'm not going to put up with it. They don't frighten or scare me whatsoever, and I've stood up to these rat bags for years, for 30 years, that they're out in the streets then. And you know, some of these protesters who protested against me years ago, I've had them come up to me on the street and say, I owe you an apology. And I said, oh, what for? I didn't understand your message. I've actually now understand what you're trying to tell us then, and I'm sorry that I was one of the protesters against you.
That's because these woke protesters, they just scream and shout. They're like children. They have no logic. They're indoctrinated. When they grow up and get in the real world, they go, oh, wait, Pauline Hanson's right. You know, everyone starts as a lefty. I love this say. Everyone starts as a lefty. Then they grow up, get a job, and then they go conservative because they're not retarded anymore. They're not indoctrinated by the school system anymore. When they realise nothing's free, taxpayers pay for it.
They say you're a threat to democracy, but is it not actually the other way around? I feel like the idea that a political event is under threat, there's so much police presence needed just to keep
all our taxpayer money. You need police riot squads so you can do a rally and have, you know, common sense and have your party speak. And they call you the fascists while they're trying to shut down your event by force. The left wing. The peaceful left, always going to violence and screaming when they don't get their own way.
People safe to come to a meet and greet to meet their candidates, where 30% of the population actually that we know of agree with them. Are they not the threat to democracy? Are they not the ones that want to kill democracy?
If they really think that I am a racist and that I'm a threat to democracy, then let people come listen to me, let the people make up their own minds. But they know that's not the case. So they haven't got a leg to stand on. But it's a shame for Victorians having to put up with this. It will keep going on until we actually say enough is enough and don't put up with it. That's why I really want to thank all the people that have come here tonight to be part of this. I want to thank
Look at that jacket. That's a freaking jacket, my man. Look at that jacket, the Aussie jacket. I love it. But that page, Sean. Yeah, I know. A lot of the protesters, I think the Socialist Party or some shit pays for a lot of the protesters. You hear? It's crazy.
Part of this. I want to thank the venue owner here, Joe, for allowing this function to happen at his place. A lot of people won't allow it to happen. They're frightened of the repercussions, and it isn't a shame. This is happening in this state.
Finally, to undecided voters of Victoria, what would you say to them? If you had to convince them now, One Nation in November, what would you say to them?
What I say to people is have a real good hard look at what you've got now, the state of this Victoria, and honestly, do you think that One Nation can do any worse than what we have now? Because you haven't got much left. You're increasing crime, you don't feel safe, there's no prosperity, you're actually further into debt, you're not going to have the services, the infrastructure's going, your farming sector's being destroyed with transmission lines, increased taxes, I can go on, and even your police are leaving in droves. You will not have police in the police force to protect you, and you will not feel safe on the streets of Melbourne if you don't get a change of government. And One Nation is the only one, because we've got the backbone and we are strong enough to make the tough decisions, and we'll make them without seeing how the polls are looking.
And that's the crazy thing as well, what Pauline said, that the police are leaving because the police are sick of it. They're sick of arresting these criminals with machetes, with fraud, with everything, and they get let out on bail by these woke politicians straight away. These woke idiots want to defund the police, get rid of them, while importing radicals and other cultures that do crime, and then they're going to get robbed, they're going to get attacked, and when they call for the police, there's not going to be anyone there. And then we'll see if they like it.
You've really triggered a bunch of people today, by the way, by saying that we can get rid of the ABC and replace it with Rebel News, but I love it.
Go for it, right? No, I got no problem. I told you, I'll cut the ABC funding. You're gone. They're gone. SBS, gone. If you're that good, go and do it by subscription. See how many people get subscribing to it. No longer the taxpayer at 1.3 billion a year. It's
How do they even spend 1.3 billion a year? That is freaking crazy.
ridiculous.
I'm hoping you pour me a beer tonight like you did the other night because it was perfect. Thanks, guys. That's Pauline Hanson here today at the meet and greet, and we can't wait. I'm most excited about this election, not only because we got rid of the group voting ticket, but because One Nation, it feels like orange.
I'm proud of you doing that. Get rid of it. Thanks, Harvey.
There we go.
If you enjoyed this straight chat with Pauline, make sure to like, comment, but most importantly, share it far and wide because you'll never see something like that on the ABC. Then, if you're interested in how I beat my addiction, go to rebelfromthestart.com or scan the QR code now to read my entire book, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly. It's all there, rebelfromthestart.com.
Thank you, Avi. You legend. Make sure you check Avi out. I'll link him in the channel again. That was a great video. One Nation is here. The protesters are trying to stop us. They're trying to silence us. They're trying to stop democracy with their violence, the peaceful left. But we're sick of it. We're not going to allow it anymore. We're not going to be scared of these radicals.